Hi everyone! Do you ever wonder why you have chronic clutter? Why, no matter how many people you hire, maids, organizers, you do it yourself in terms of cleaning up, and the clutter keeps magnifying back? Well, we're here today to blow the lid off of the misconceptions of what clutter is all about, and we're here to tell you it's all in your mindset, and that's what manifests the clutter.
So welcome to our online workshop, and it's called our 7 strategies. They're proven strategies to cure your chronic clutter. Now, why should you listen to us? Well, we are the experts in this field. I personally dealt with clutter after the death of my parents, so I absolutely know it was so difficult to let go of their items. I inherited all of their stuff, and it was really, really difficult. I had this dialogue, like Steve was saying, it's sort of an inside game. It's all in our heads. And I had this dialogue that the shame and the guilt if I let go of my mom's stuff. I even thought to myself, I'd be throwing away a piece of mom, and bad daughter. So I know exactly what the dialogue is going on in your mind. And that was 15 years ago. And so since that time, Steve and I, we've made it our mission in our company, our company's Mojo Life Coaches. And we've made it our mission to truly help people who are dealing with chronic clutter, because it is paralyzing, and it can just, it really is it's a horrible way to go through life.
And it affects all areas of our life, doesn't it? Our
Sure.
relationships, our finances, when we have to buy and acquire so much stuff. It affects all areas of our life. Our health, because we trip and fall over the clutter, or if we're elderly, I mean, sometimes it puts us into a hospital. And how about all the fires that happen because of the maintenance, the lack of repair in a home because of all the clutter? Right. There's a lot of people that die in fires because of clutter.
And not to mention the fact that the embarrassment and the shame, I personally couldn't even let people into my house because it was so cluttered and I didn't feel good about it. So I would meet people at restaurants and still connect with people. But again, my home is my haven, and I made a decision one day that I had had enough with the clutter, and I went out and figured out what was going on in my mindset. Again, it's 100% an inside game, and so we're here to help you understand that and share with you some of our proven strategies, which we have a 98% success rate. So this works. Okay, so listen in.
Yes, absolutely.
And be sure to stay to the end of this online workshop, because at the end of this, we're going to give you a very invaluable gift to you. So be sure to stay to the end, because we're only offering it to people who are on this online event. So first off, I just wanted to share with you, we are the co-authors of the Hoard No More Rescue Kit. You may have already seen this at hoardnomore.org. And the Clutter and Anxiety program. And it's the 8-CD program that is available at clutterandanxiety.com. So, but that is just to give you an idea of, again, like I mentioned, Steve and I have dedicated our practice to this issue about chronic clutter, and we have the answers. We are the experts, and you are in the right place.
Let's get started.
Okay, so when you look around your home, we want you to envision, how do you want to feel? So I'm going to start off with, you want to feel excited to come home to a peaceful and clutter-free environment. You'll want to flow through your home and your life with a fresh and new sense of freedom, joy, simplicity, and absolute bliss. And these were some of the goals that I had, so I'm sharing them with you, and also thousands of clients that we've worked with. You know, your relationships with your family and your friends become closer now that you have peace, balance, and harmony in your home and in your heart. You're enjoying a life free of clutter and anxiety in both your mind and your home, welcoming in a flood of love you never dreamed possible. You feel happy and relaxed, safe and balanced as you move from room to room. You're living in a clutter-free life, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Your life is abundantly calm, organized, and peaceful, and you're living in true joy, which is what we all deserve and desire. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah. You permanently detach from and let go of items without fear, anxiety, pain, and regret, so you can finally clear out the clutter. You're free from the chains that kept you paralyzed, and you're empowered to painlessly declutter your mind and your home. You've created the peaceful and joyous and loving home you've always dreamed about, that you can share with pride to your loved ones, your friends, and your visitors.
Because there's nothing like having so much clutter that you want to isolate yourself. You are shame. You're living in shame and guilt, and are just not proud of who you are. Because all of us, deep down inside, are beautiful beings. It's just sometimes we lose our way, and that's what clutter does. It isolates us. It keeps us in a negative. And we're going to go into this a little bit deeper. But this negative emotions and these negative vibrations, and then more negative things happen in our lives. And we've seen it with thousands of our clients. And that's really why we're doing this today, is because we know that you don't want to live that way anymore. But no one ever teaches us like how to stop the overwhelm and the stress and the depression and all this stuff that goes on with clutter.
Right. So. And many of our clients, after using our strategies in our programs, they actually, invite family over for Thanksgiving dinner for the first time in decades. And a lot of the women, in our group, they say, I have Bible study that I can now have I can host it at my home. And there's such a joy and a pleasure and pride in that. They can invite their Bible study group into their home. So again, these are just miraculous transformations that happen. So this is possible for you too. And another thing, you plow through indecisiveness while you increase your confidence and clarity so you can finally declutter in warp speed. And here's a big one. Give yourself permission to say no without guilt, and this immediately will cut back on your overwhelm. Many of us, especially women, we go through life saying yes to everybody else, and we don't say yes to ourselves, and that creates even more overwhelm and anxiety in our lives, and we never get to the cleaning up the clutter because we're taking care of so many other people. So make sure you're giving yourself permission to say yes to you. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. So that's really where we want to live as all human beings. If they had their choice, that's where they would want to live, right? But now let's check in with where, if you're really listening to this, you probably have an issue, and you probably might have even had it for dealing with this chronic clutter for years or maybe even decades. We've worked with 90-year-old women who have been dealing with this their whole life, and literally within weeks, they start changing and transforming not only their home, but their mind, their bodies, everything starts changing. Because it's all an inside game, and that's what we're here to share with you. So really, how is your home right now? When you look around your home, how do you feel? Do you want to hang the welcome sign above the front door and finally start having friends and family over? But you're just too embarrassed to allow anyone in. You feel shame and guilt about your clutter, and you keep punishing yourself, which leads to a state of depression. You feel stressed and anxious. You're overwhelmed and unhappy, like you're drowning in a flood of clutter. The mess around you is intensifying the chaos you feel inside. And we get that. Because it's like a loop. It keeps reinforcing itself. The outside clutter intensifies this chaos that I feel inside. I feel overwhelmed. I feel stressed. I don't feel relaxed. I don't feel peaceful. And then because of that, I attract even more clutter. This is how it works. So, your house is not a healthy and safe haven right now. You walk in fear as you move from room to room. You're worried about slipping and falling. You want more than anything to create and maintain a clutter-free home. But somehow you always end up procrastinating, so progress is never made. You know how to clean up. You understand what needs to be accomplished, but you don't know where to start or how you could possibly finish, so nothing ever gets done. Does that sound familiar? It's like, I am so overwhelmed, I don't know where to start.
Yeah. Yeah. And we hear that
All the time.
All the time. Yes.
And we understand it. And there, really what ends up happening is there's like a stalemate. And it's like nothing, the clutter's not moving,
Yeah.
I'm not progressing, I'm not feeling good about myself, and the clutter just keeps building and building and building. And then what we have learned how to do is to break that stalemate so you can start moving forward very, very quickly, which is great. So you feel frazzled all the time. Your outer mess is complicating your inner mess. Sometimes you can't even sleep. And your energy level? Haha! Forget about it. You're constantly juggling all the things you have to do. Those to-do lists, right? And cleaning the house remains at the bottom of a very long list. You're frustrated because you have no time to focus on the good things in life, including time with family, enjoying a hobby, and or spending time with friends. Does that sound familiar? And that's really what the juice of life is all about. And what clutter does is it isolates us so that we can't experience that juice, that goodness in life. So you're overwhelmed and exhausted all the time. And sometimes the clutter is the absolute tipping point for you. And you just can't stand it any longer. Living in clutter is undoubtedly contributing to your frustration, overwhelm, panic, and anxiety. And you've had enough, haven't you? You're like, oh my God,
I'm out. I can't do this anymore.
How long do I have to live with chronic clutter?
And again, I was there, guys, and I totally understand because I was like, I can't live like this. And it's so overwhelming, and it literally does paralyze you, and you can't move forward in life. So it's just not a way that I know you don't want to live that way, you don't deserve it, and you don't desire it. So we're here to guide you through that.
Now listen up, as one of our clients did exactly what we're talking about here, and she had amazing transformation. So listen to this.
I came to Mojo Life Coaching. I had serious things going on in my life. I had lost my husband. I had lost one of my best friends, and I actually lost my way. I woke up one day depressed, wondering what happened to my beautiful home and what was happening to me personally. In desperation, I turned to our wonderful internet and started looking for ways and means that I could learn to recognize what was going on with me without having medication, without having self-medication or prescription. In 7 days or less, I already recognized depression for what it was. I learned how to stop it, because we know that depression hurts. We know that depression, how it looks, how it feels, how it hurts. And I learned to recognize it for what it was. I was able to think about new ways to think about things that affected me. With their help, I learned to think differently about how I feel about things, about people, about incidents, and how I can use that to help myself. I learned I didn't have to do it alone. And family members were like, everybody was willing to help. I was just ashamed and embarrassed because that wasn't who I was. If I could tell someone that I would break down that wall, that we think people judge us, and really is it important that they judge us if we feel good about ourselves? Then that opinion doesn't matter, because we know who we are, we know what we're about, and we want to be happy about where we're at. So I've always been a very proactive person, very assertive, and when this happened to me, I actually found myself like a shut-in. I was afraid to talk to people. I was afraid to go out at night, or even I would go out to do my supermarket at night so I wouldn't have to face anybody I knew, and I knew that wasn't me, so I knew that there was the exuberant Eve was in there hiding, and she needed to come out. I learned that there could be a setback. My husband passed away in December, and that setback kind of taught me that you have to do the process. You have to think differently. You can do the reading, you can do the CDs, you can do the textbooks, the exercises, the people that you hear, Their experiences actually help you build yourself up. I don't need more of anything. I just more of me is more than enough. I don't need more stuff. The stuff gets more stuff. But you're going to find that you're going to learn how to trust yourself. You're going to learn how to think about things differently. When you think about, I'm going to try to do things, or I'm going to think about doing that or changing that, or I hope to get to that you have to learn to tell yourself, I'm going to do it this day at this time. And I started with like 15 minutes a day. I try little by little to incorporate my changes. I rewarded myself with my manis and my pedis and my massages. I rewarded myself by having a bubble bath when I finally got the bathroom all cleaned up. I learned to love myself and tell myself that I'm worth it, and that the support group is there for me whenever I need them. I can listen to my audio recordings over and over and see where I was and how far I've come. And I learned to trust people. I learned to open up my heart again and accept that I'm a child of God and that this could happen to anyone, and that there are people like Steve and Elaine out there with their life coaching skills, that they're there to help you, guide you along the way for as long as you need them. Found myself again in a new place with a new mindset, and my house is looking wonderful. I'm feeling great. My neighbors are actually excited. They tell, I went to lunch with them and they said, she's back. She's back. It's the old Evie. She's back. So that's very enlightening that life is good. God is good. And I pray for all of you that you find your way and that it's a different journey for everyone. But if you will continue to trust Steve and Elaine, that you'll wake up one day and you'll say, like, wow, I could have done this so much sooner. I could have found my way. I could have learned how to think differently, act differently, treat myself differently, love yourself first, and don't give away all your energy to everyone else without saving some for yourself as well.
So let's get to talking about, we want to educate you on really what clutter is all about. And let me tell you, it's totally backwards than what most families and people think about. We get calls from people who are like, my mom's living in a whole bunch of, like almost a cage of clutter, and she can't see it because over time, what clutter does is it develops over such a slow period of time that our brain wants to protect us, so we don't even really see the clutter anymore. We don't see the dangers involved in living in this unhealthy and unsafe environment. So what we're here to do is really talk about what is at the core of all of these issues.
Okay, so here's some key points to know, okay? Mess is the cause of your stress, okay? It's all that inside game that Steve was talking about earlier. And everything has energy. So it's important to understand that clutter is negative energy. It absolutely drains you. When you look around your house and you see clutter, it is a drain of your energy.
Positive and negative energy, and then more negativity attracts because it's like physics. When you have a vibration, it's going to attract the same vibrations, and mess is absolutely the most negative vibration you can have, and it attracts more negativity in your life. And I'm sure you probably experienced it in your own life.
It's all an inside game. It's about your mindset, okay? It's vital to know that the mess and the clutter is the symptom, okay? I'm going to say that again. The mess and the clutter is the symptom. It is not the core problem.
So you see, we get a lot of family members and people who are dealing with a lot of clutter, and they go, well, I just need to get a dumpster, or I need to do this. And we're like, no, that's actually the opposite of what you want to do. Because people who hold on to things and items, it's almost like it becomes a part of them. So, and it's because of anxiety, it's because of stress, and it's a little bit more complex, which we're going to delve into a little bit later. But you have to understand that that's the last thing that you want to do, is put your resources, money, and time into just cleaning up the stuff, because you haven't addressed the mindset and what is going on the inside that has magnified and caused the clutter to appear in the first place. Because 97% of the time, you have to understand, 97% of the time, if you do not deal with the mindset, the clutter will just keep coming back and will just magnify because of the anxiety and because of the way that you're thinking and how you relate to. So it's very important that you want to put the resources and the time into understanding this, because I'm sure you've cleaned up, or you've had family help you clean up, or you got a maid or an organizer, and you're like, why is the stuff coming back?
Right.
Well, this is why.
Right, because again, the secret key here is you have not shifted the mindset as to what caused the clutter in the first place, okay? So we're going to talk about that right now.
Okay, so you have to understand that your thoughts affect your emotions, and then your emotions affect the quality of your life. And then your quality of life is where you live, your environment, and your lifestyle. So it's very important. You have to understand that people don't realize that no one has ever really taught us to how to control our thoughts, which then controls our emotions. And then the state that I'm in with my emotions will dictate how I behave in the world, or how I act, or if I leave clutter around, right? I mean, it all just kind of makes sense, right? But no one ever gives us a blueprint of how to work that so that we can declutter painlessly, quickly, and without a whole lot of drama and frustration, which so many families go through.
So one of the first things that you want to do is the key to the success is really shifting the identity. You want to align your identity with what you desire and you deserve in life. Okay? And again, you want to focus on what you want to manifest. Just like at the beginning of this online event, I walked you through that, focusing on what you want to manifest. You want that welcome sign. You want that people in your home. You want to share those Thanksgiving dinner for the first time, or Bible study. You want to focus on what you want to manifest. And that has to match your identity. And I'll share a story with you. We had a client, her name is Marlene, and she used to say, Elaine and Steve, all my life, even as a kid, I was called Messy Marlene. And we worked with her to shift her identity to Marvelous Marlene. And the thing is if you always see yourself as messy, or as in this case, if Marlene always saw herself as Messy Marlene, well, again, like Steve said, with the thoughts, emotions, and how you show up in life, if you think you're Messy Marlene, you will feel the emotions of Messy Marlene, and you're going to show up as Messy Marlene.
That's the way it works.
So what we did with Marlene was we helped her shift her identity, because all of us have within us an amazing power and an amazing gifts. And she tapped into how marvelous she actually is in other areas of her life. Clutter is one of her big issues. But we helped her shift the focus on what is really special about her, her unique gifts. And she was like, oh my gosh, it was like this light bulb moment. And she came up with the new identity, tapping into her true authenticity. She's Marvelous Marlene. And she's like, oh my gosh, I am marvelous. I'm not messy. I'm just messy in my home, and that's just mechanics, and I know how to clean up. I just have to shift my mindset. And once she did, she sent us this beautiful angel that we have on our above our fireplace. And this is the angel of
it is the angel of freedom.
Freedom. So she used to say, Elaine, I felt like I was in a cage. My clutter was my cage, and I felt like this clutter, I'm in this cage of clutter. And through your coaching, I was released from the cage. And now I'm a butterfly, Marvelous Marlene, flittering around. And actually, this is the butterfly right there. If you see the butterfly, the angel. And she felt like she was released from this cage of clutter. And it was beautiful.
And in addition to sending that, she also sent with a beautiful butterfly 2 poems. And I would like to read one of them to show you, literally, she went from thinking about, I'm just messy all around. My hair is even messy. My car is messy. Everything is messy. And we shifted that identity from the inside out, because that's the way clutter really works, right? You think it's the outside, but it's all coming from the inside. But no one ever really shows us what's possible or how to go about doing that. So She wrote a beautiful poem, and I want to share with you what's possible, okay? Because this is not the exception. This is the rule. When we see people who do this, it's beautiful.
And she called us the angels on the line because we coached her on the telephone. So when you hear her talking about my angels, and again, kind of ironic that she chose the angel. So when you hear Steve reading the poem, she's talking about us being the angels on the telephone line.
So she says, thank you. Thank you to the angels on the line. Thank you both for taking the time and helping me to learn and see how I can be set truly free. To help me be cognitive of my thoughts, the would-haves, should-haves, and the can-nots. The blame and shame and love-me-nots. Holding on to forget-me-nots. Thank you from a former hoarder extraordinaire, so overstuffed beyond compare. My house was nearly bursting at the seams, memories to the rafters, regrets up to the beams. Overflowing with cast-off dreams. This is not bragging, it's just a fact. Now I'm cleaning up my act. I want to get my vision back and get my life back on track. And now I've faced my greatest fear. I am the hoarder of the year. You may think I should be elated, but I think it's a bit belated. I do not want to make a scene, but you are talking to the Queen of Clean.
Yoo-hoo!
With thanks to God and his team of angels, who are showing me how to get untangled. I'd much rather be bringing glory to God, sharing his hope as his path I trod, filling each life with love and laughter, and living in heaven forever after. I've learned to give myself away and truly share, letting others know how much I care. And when all my stuff is dead and gone, I pray that what really matters will live on. Marvelous Marlene. That is amazing.
Yeah, and it's amazing how earlier, like I said, we all have special gifts inside us. And once she reflected upon, I'm not really messy Marlene, I'm marvelous, this poetry came out of her. It's truly from her heart and her soul. And because like we said in the beginning, mess causes stress, it almost shuts down your brain, and you can't allow your God-given gifts come out. And that was so eloquent that once she released herself from all the anxiety, the stress, and the overwhelm, she tapped into her special gift of poetry. And this just eloquently came out. And literally, she sent us now, I think
it's like three or four, something like that.
Just beautiful poems. And we send them to our other clients who just are looking for more of that inspiration, because this is possible for you guys. It's just, again, like me, I was stuck and I couldn't see it. I needed that third party to do it. And this is, you can do this too. So here again, we want to keep educating you. One of the core problems in dealing with overwhelming and chronic clutter is this story that in our heads that perhaps I don't deserve to live in a clutter-free home. Or this other self-talk is, I'm not worthy of it. So the most important thing is you must shift your mindset and your thoughts in order to experience a transformation.
See, many times people don't realize, but their subconscious mind, which is their emotional mind, part of their mind, that rules their behavior. It's actually 95% of all of our brain is the subconscious. And that's what we're really trained in doing, is getting to the subconscious and aligning it with what you really want, right? That what do you want to feel? What do you want your environment to be like? And we have masterfully learned how to align your subconscious, which is 95% of your brain. That's what's ruling you. And you might even not know deep down inside or subconsciously that you're really saying, I'm not worthy of a clean house or an organized house or even a less cluttered house, right? You might be, and I can guarantee you, if it's manifesting around you, then you have something that is playing in your mindset that is sabotaging you. Okay. So, and that's what our mission in life is, to give you the tools and strategies of how to break through that. Okay? Okay,
and another key point to know is that, and this probably comes as a surprise to some of you, that one of the main characteristics of people who deal with chronic clutter is perfectionism. Okay? So, and that kind of sounds like Oh, I'm not quite sure how that fits in, but it is, trust me, there is a huge component of that. So we teach our clients to choose the progress mindset instead of the perfection mindset. Because when you're in the perfection mindset, it immediately causes procrastination, indecision, and eventually you just get paralyzed and so completely frustrated. You know, if you can't find the perfect place to hang that picture, well, guess what? It stays on the floor. If you can't find the perfect, home for an item, guess what? It stays where it is. And then the piles start piling up higher, higher, and higher, and higher. And before you know it, you've got a completely chaotic, cluttered home. And that's, again, from that perfection mindset. So again, it's an inside game. We have to shift from the perfection to the progress mindset during the process of the cleanup.
When we first worked with Elaine, and we also had family members that dealt with this issue, and it was remarkable to find out that perfection was 99% of the time with all of our clients. It's like perfectionism is a core characteristic. And we're like, it's so backwards, because you would think it's such a mess, it's such clutter, that you're not perfect. You're not even close to perfect. But it's actually the drive of wanting to get somewhere which you can't get to because perfectionism doesn't even exist.
It's all made up in our heads.
I mean, we're always striving for it,
Yeah.
but we're exhausted, and then we procrastinate and indecision and all of that. So it's pretty amazing.
So I invite you to say, bye, polyperfect. That's what actually my family called me, polyperfect. And here are two mantras that I teach with all of our coaching clients. And it really does release you from that overwhelming desire to be perfect. And the first one, and I encourage you to maybe even pause this if you can, or write this down on notes, and put these two phrases on your bathroom mirror or wherever you see go daily. And the first one is, I'm perfect, whole, and complete just the way I am. And the second one is, I love myself for all that I am and all that I'm not. And that truly releases you from the insatiable desire to be perfect, because we are perfectly whole and complete, just like we are. Here and now, we were created as we are, perfectly whole and complete. And the most important thing is that you have to love yourself in order for this even to release yourself from this clutter. Love yourself for all that you are and all that you're not. Okay? That's so important. Gotta get that. Okay? Write that down on your bathroom mirror, okay?
Not a lot of people know about this information, but our clients, once they take this on, listen to the results that you can get.
Hi, I'm Patty, and I've been blessed with the program that Steve and Elaine have for anxiety and clutter-free life. And let me tell you, it really works. I never thought I would be able to find something that really works and really helps what we're going through. If you have that in your life, please take the major step to make a decision and call Steve and Elaine and get the course. You don't have to go anywhere. You can do it from your own home. There's lots of people on the line that are all going through the same kinds of things you are. I've been fighting it most of my adult life, off and on, sometimes off for many years, and then something bad would happen and it would start all over. Well, the last time was about like I'd lost a purpose in my life, and I just quit cleaning, started collecting dad's stuff, mom's stuff, my stuff, memories, and it just continued on until I couldn't have anybody over to my house because I was so ashamed. My sister reminded me that it had been 7 years since she'd been in my house, and we only live an hour away from each other. And I always had an excuse because I was so ashamed. And now I'll be able to have her and anybody else over to my house. I used to have Bible study at my house. Maybe I'll be able to do that again now. I'm a work in progress, but every day is a forward move, and it just feels so good to be able to say that I've accomplished this, to be able to say that I made the decision that helped change my life. But they gave me all the encouragement I needed. They've given me tools. They've given me the understanding and the non-judgmental care that makes all the difference. Because no one else would have understood the way they did. It has to be someone that's gone through it like they did. I really believe that. I was able to get the stuff out of my house so that I could start working on my own. And I feel like I've got a new life. I really feel like I have a new life. Thank you.
See, it's interesting that Albert Einstein, who was one of the great thought leaders of our time, he said something very interesting that has a very profound effect with clutter. See, 70% of the people that we have studied, and we've worked with other masterminds in the industry, and they all agree that about 70% of people who are dealing with chronic clutter, or even to the extreme hoarding, is they are highly intelligent, really, really, almost genius smart. Okay. And the issue is that plays against them in terms of them healing and curing this chronic clutter, because they think they can just read a book and learn their way through it. But what we have found is that Albert Einstein said beautifully, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. Okay? So what that means is that the same way of thinking that actually caused the problem, the same consciousness that caused clutter, that brought the problem about, cannot actually solve the same problem. So really what our 7 proven strategies to cure chronic clutter has done is concisely compacted exactly what you need to break in with a new consciousness to give you the transformation to be able to declutter very painlessly and in warp speed.
Now, it's interesting to note that 70% of the people who deal with chronic clutter are highly intelligent, okay? Like, even some are at the genius level. And they think that they believe that they can think or learn their way out of the clutter. And that's just simply not true. Like Steve was just saying, the same consciousness that caused the clutter cannot get rid of the clutter. And it's most important to understand there's a 97% recidivism rate if you don't resolve the mindset problem. So again, if you just go in and have a professional organizer organize it, or friends and family or a cleanup crew come in and clean it up, there's a 97% recidivism. These are proven statistics, so listen in here.
So that really means a 3% success rate, which no one would ever want to go to Las Vegas with that. It's a horrible... Right. So you're spending all this money and time and helping families clean up when you're not really addressing the core issue. So it literally, it's called, when it's hyper at the mode. Extreme, it's like hyper hoarding. They want to hoard it around them again. Right. So you haven't resolved them not wanting to have the stuff around them. So you're really not addressing the issue.
Right. So here are some roadblocks that we're going to share with you. Okay. One of the most important things, again, another thing is important is a lot of people who deal with chronic clutter think that they're the giver and they're kind to others, but you're not giving and loving to yourself. Okay. Earlier, I was mentioning saying no without guilt. That's part of it. Okay. And it's important to realize you're not the keeper and responsible for all things. Because all things have a cycle of life. And by holding on to the clutter, you're actually being a cog in the wheel of the circle of life of these items. Because again, if I'm not using them and they're not serving me or my family or the greater good, then you're a cog in the wheel of the universe of sharing it now, those items, with somebody who could use it. Yeah. Families in need who you could donate it to, and you would be lighting up another family instead of holding on to it. And again, it's like, if it's not serving you, release it.
Yeah. Okay. And it's interesting because the number one characteristic that we see with all of our clients is they're such good-hearted people.
Yes.
But the way that they're living is they're not really treating themselves very well at all. And that's where we come in, because that's our mission.
Right. Okay, and then another is fear. Okay, that's also what it comes down to. And I want you to understand the acronym for fear, FEAR, is a false experience appearing real. And when you're in that fear, in that state of fear, you're actually in what we call the what if world of the future. So there's the fear of letting go creates tremendous anxiety. And what you're doing when you have the fear of letting go and you have that anxiety, you're living in the future what if world. What if I need it in a year? What if my son has a new grandchild of mine, and I want to pass down this item to my grandson? Okay, this is all the what if world, and it's now, but it's stripping away the present day, the joy, the peace, the love, fulfillment that you can have in the here and now, because you're so worried about the future. And again, that's the thought process that we're kind of educating you on now. Big roadblock.
So that's a huge, huge thing that we see, is the fear is a big part of it. And you might not recognize it. Again, 95% is the subconscious. So you do need to learn how to really make fear your friend, because it's really our built-in security system to alarm us to something that will better us. And that's really what you need to understand, is how to make fear your friend instead of be fearful of it.
So the key is, where do you want to live, right? Future, that what if world, is where you're in the state of anxiety. When you're focused in living in the past, you're living in sadness and depression. But when you're living in the present, hey guys, that is where, in the only place, you will find true joy.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Love true joy.
So that is, again, make sure that you shift that mindset. What if world? Anxiety. The past? Sadness and depression. Here, right now, right here. There's no sadness, there's no anxiety, there's no depression. It's in the present moment is the only place you can have true joy and live in abundance with love in your family and your friends. And it's just, it is magical, and you have it. It's there. It's available for you. You just have to choose it.
But literally most human beings that are walking this earth do this, is they bridge over the present moment. And they constantly teeter and go from thinking about the past, that which kind of makes them sad, depressed, all that kind of stuff. And then they jump, totally missing this present moment. Right. And then they go into, oh my God, what if I don't have money, or if this doesn't work, or this. Okay. So we're jumping and bridging over, going anxiety, depression, anxiety, depression. A lot of human beings. So you're not the only one.
So real quick, we'd like to share with you one of our clients who used our 7 strategies and her miraculous transformation. So listen in real quick.
One of the first things that Steve and Elaine help you to do is change your way of thinking about yourself. It's been the best choice I've ever made. This was my biggest, darkest secret. I didn't share it with anybody, and it did keep me isolated, which also ended up being a comfortable thing for me. But I really got miserable and did not want to live that way. But I did need help. I made a lot of to-do lists, and I just never got anywhere. I got stuck, and Steve and Elaine have taught me how to move forward. Just keep moving. Just start. And the more I was able to do and be successful, the more I wanted to do. In the past, I would start a project. I couldn't make decisions. I would have anxiety, get overwhelmed, and then procrastinate and just stop, and then be so disappointed in myself, and then be depressed after that. And Steve and Elaine also have taught me that it's such a misery. It's such a misery to live in. And their true heart of hearts for them is they want to help as many people as they can to not have to live that way. They've taught me a better way, and they know they can help so many people. They really have studied it. To me, they're the best of the best, because I really had given up hope. But rather quickly, I learned to trust because they do not judge at all, because I just felt everybody would judge me. And most of all, I judged my own self. Steve and Elaine do not do your cleanup for you, but they almost hold your hand and walk you through it. When you hit a wall, they just talk to you, and it just disappears almost. But one of the things they helped me with in less than 10 days, and to me, I just never dreamed this could be possible. I always had the what if thinking. I can't let go of this because what if? I may need it. What if I need it? You never know. You just never know. And I come from a long generations of clutterers. I was fearful to change. But they helped me with that what if thinking, and it almost disappeared on its own. I didn't have to work at it. Something in my mind, they helped me, and it just did shift. Again, Steve and Elaine, to me, are the best of the best in the business. I was concerned, really concerned in the beginning about the cost of the coaching, and what if I failed again? Then I just wasted more money. But they helped me transform and be empowered in my life. It has been worth every penny. It is priceless. And I just know they can help everyone. So don't be afraid to step out and take a chance. I think you would be I know your life can change. You'll be so happy.
We're all about educating you guys in this short period of time we have together, so we're kind of going through this really quick, but here are some obstacles that we want to bring to your attention. We want you to eliminate these 3 words from your vocabulary. Try, think, and hope. Meaning, I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to clean up. Or, I think I can clean up. I think I can do this. Or, I hope. I hope it'll magically disappear, right? We all have this. It's good intentions, but those 3 words, I promise you, are the obstacles to your success.
Okay, so we're going to do a fun little exercise here to show you what we're talking about. Okay, Elaine, I would like you to try to pick up that pen.
Try to pick it up.
Try to pick that up. Okay, now you just picked up that pen. So now I would like you to, I didn't ask you to pick up the pen, I asked you to try to pick up the pen. Okay, now you're not picking up the pen.
Okay. Right.
I would like you to try to pick up the pen.
Try to pick it up. Well, I can't. I can't try. I'm trying. Well, yeah, I'm trying.
So do you see the confusion that comes from this? And this is what many people who are dealing with clutter are living in this state, is there is no such thing as to try to pick up a pen. You either pick up the pen or you don't pick up the pen. There is no such thing as try or hope. They're instructing their mind to sabotage themselves, and they don't even realize they're doing that. And that's where the confusion, the indecision, the procrastination, all of that kind of mixes together, and then there's clutter.
Right. Okay, so another thing that we notice with all of our coaching clients that are dealing with chronic clutter is what we have found is that when you go out to a store, you're getting a false high when you buy something or you acquire something. It's almost like you're looking for that bargain, and you get it's a high. Ooh, I got it on sale, or I got it at, a good price or a bargain. And it's that false sense of high and excitement you're getting. But immediately when you get home, that false sense of high is gone. And here's the other alarming part of that whole concept. 60% of the time, you never touch the item after you purchase it.
Did you hear that one? 60% of the time that I go buy, even though this was a gift, I go buy this angel. 60% of the time, the majority of the time, I never even touch that item again. So you have to realize that 60% of the time, and I know most of our clients love to go shopping for clothes or for the shoes, right? Women love the shoes. So, but you have to realize 60% of the time, it doesn't even sometimes come out of the shopping bag, and it goes into a closet, it goes under the bed. It just adds to the clutter. Mm-hmm. So what that proves to us, and what we have studied relentlessly, is it's not about the item. It's the experience in which you're hunting and shopping for the item or acquiring at a garage sale or Salvation Army. So you have to realize it's not the item itself, it's the experience.
Right.
So if you're sick and tired, really, we've shown you it's a little bit more complex than you probably originally thought, but we haven't really figured it all out. And it's kind of like a ball of yarn that's all tied up really tight, and we know exactly which pieces of yarn to make it all fall apart, and now you can painlessly, because you don't want to have all this pain of, I don't want to let go of this thing, and it's all this anguish.
Yeah.
We've seen it, but literally within hours, we have figured out how to shift the mindset so that, I don't have to be in pain when I let go of this item.
Right.
And so what we have done is put together the 7 proven strategies to cure chronic clutter once and for all for your life.
And we came up with these strategies after working literally with thousands of people, not even just in the United States, okay? We're working with people internationally. So we definitely have this down to a strategy, and we packaged them up. We call it the doc in the box, because it's like our best mental health strategies, and we just put them on CDs so that you guys can do them at the convenience and the privacy of your own home and at the speed of which you want to do it. And we've really made it easy, just boxed it up for you. So we're going to explain each of these modules where we're sharing our 7 proven strategies. And again, Steve will show you the program.
So this is called the Clutter and Anxiety No More program. Okay, it comes with
8 CDs.
8 CDs in it, okay? 8 powerful CDs, and it's all chock full of great information. And then it also comes with a workbook, okay? And you have to realize that you're also going to be able to see us coaching other people as they're getting their aha moments and getting that release and the breakthroughs, and like, I never looked at it that way. Right. You can actually experience it. And the way that we have developed this is that it'll sink into your subconscious mind, which is where a lot of the issues are, and you don't even know what is causing you to stay stuck, or that stalemate that I was talking about.
Right.
So really...
So the CDs are, again, these are our live coaching sessions. So you're going to be like a fly on the wall listening in and getting the aha moments at the immediate same time as the people on the CD. So here are the, like we said, we put it down into 7 strategies and into 8 different CDs, okay?
So in Module 1, there's an introduction and a mind-blowing client transformation. And then we start getting into the 7 proven strategies. And the second module will be 6 ultimate power breakthroughs for reclaiming your home and life. Module 3 is give yourself permission to let go. And that's where you can actually finally learn how to let go without pain, which is very, very powerful. Module 4 is create an abundance mentality. Because you have to realize that clutter is really, the core of clutter is a scarcity mindset. Like, I'm not going to be okay without all of this stuff. And the more I have, the more havingness, the better I feel, which is really an illusion, and we kind of go through that in this program. Now, on Module 5 is your inner game, which is really what we're talking about today, is a lot of it your inner game and how to resolve and cure this, what's causing the chronic clutter. Number 6, Module 6, is to take you from victim to hero. Because many times people who deal with clutter have had trauma, have had loss of loved ones, different things that have occurred in their life, and we show you how to go from a victim to being your own hero. Then in Module 7, we have training your brain, which is everything we're talking about today. And Module 8 is freedom from separation anxiety and indecisiveness, which indecisiveness is a big part of clutter, as you well know. It's like, I don't know what to do, so I don't do anything.
So like we said, we do have the solution and the cure for your chronic clutter in those 8 modules where we share our 7 proven strategies. Again, these are proven strategies. So, so here's where you can get the, it's called the Clutter and Anxiety No More program. Like we mentioned, 8 CDs with the action guide and the workbook. It does have a 98% success rate with our coaching clients. And you can get that on our website, www.clutterandanxiety.com. And for those of you who are on this online workshop, you can get $100 off by simply putting in this exclusive coupon code just for you guys who are on this online event. And so when you're on the checkout, simply put in the number 100 in the coupon box of the checkout. It's real easy peasy, simple.
So remember just to put the 100 to get that $100 off, because you don't want to put a $sign. It's just 100. That's it.
Okay.
Now, we don't know how long we're going to keep that up because we're really just doing this as a gift to you guys, because we know this is important to you. Because if you invested an hour to really learn what chronic clutter is all about, we want to give you a gift. And we want to say thank you for investing your time with us.
So if you have any questions at all, you can email me, Elaine, at mojolifecoaches.com, or you can call us on our Mojo hotline, 703-723-MOJO, which is 6656. And we also offer private one-on-one and group coaching worldwide. So if you want us to hold your hand through the process, because the CD program that we're talking about with our $100 off offer, that is more of a self-help. You do it on your own, at your own speed, in the privacy of your own home, like I mentioned earlier. But if you want Steve and I to coach you privately through your clutter issue, we'd be happy to do that. And again, you can just contact me at Elaine. Actually, I'll put it back up. Elaine at mojolifecoaches.com, or give us a call at 703-723-MOJO, and that is 6656.
And I want to address one last misconception that we hear all the time is, don't I need to go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist or have someone who's local to be able to come and see my clutter to really understand my issue? And the answer is, nope. We've literally worked with thousands of people around the world, and it's all through over the phone or through Skype, because it's all the mindset. And once you can shift this, and by the way, typically psychologists and psychiatrists, they mix in a whole bunch of other niches, and they literally only do 1, 2, 3 cases a year to dealing with clutter or worst case hoarding. And they really don't understand it because it's very backwards thinking. They don't understand that. I've talked with psychologists and they're like, oh, perfectionism? Yeah. Well, how can that be? They don't even really understand it themselves. So I would really recommend you going with this material instead of wasting your time with traditional mental health therapy, which can be cathartic in a way, but what we have found is most of the people who've come to us have seen traditional mental health therapists, have been taking drugs like from psychiatrists with little to no results. And we really want you to transform your life as quickly as possible and stop wasting time, because it's the opportunity cost, right? So that's what we would love for you. And so go to clutterandanxiety.com and get your copy of these 7 proven strategies to cure chronic clutter, and it's really good. The program is called Clutter and Anxiety No More, because that's really where you want to live.
Now, if you're still on the fence, worried that this program may not work for you, or if it's even worth the investment, listen to this, what one of our clients had to say.
My wife is Barb. She didn't feel like she wanted to do anything. Well, then when I went to the internet, I looked for the word hoarding and came up with your website, and I thought, I'm going to give it a try. I felt this is what we're looking for, and it was, and was able to get her to listen to the CDs. As her thinking was changed from negative to positive. And a lot of the things that she was so negative about turned out to be positive. And I was very surprised when we sat down and she says, I have something to tell you. And what she said was, I want to apologize for the way I've treated you in the past. And to me, that was a big plus. I don't think she knew how she was affecting not only myself, but her family and many others. Her thoughts and things were changed to a point where now she wants to go ahead. And I'm very willing, because of what help she has had from you and Elaine over just a very short time. What I have seen has been a change, a big change. And I have never seen anything like this before in her. I guess I could just say, to this point, I'm very, very well satisfied. I see an improvement in her attitude. Oh, to sum it up in one word, would be happier. The thing that I see is that she's willing and wanting to go ahead with the whole process. I didn't see that before. She's opening her eyes to I think to a new world. It just is not the pessimist that she was, and is an optimist now. It just it's from a negative to a positive, and I am very well satisfied. Very well.
How long did it take for you to see that difference?
Oh, probably was 3 weeks, 4 weeks. She didn't realize what she was doing, especially now she does, because she apologized to me. And that's a big plus to me. I'm sure she can see that the time's coming when that living room will be a place as a living room, not as a clutter room. I'm enthused to see what's going to happen next.
That's how it works. So you would definitely say it's worth the money, worth the effort to see your loved one transform?
Definitely. Very definitely. Yes, it's I feel now there's hope. At one time I was questioning myself, will there ever be hope? But I can feel it now. There will be hope as she continues to go down this path that's going to lead her to a better life. She's going to be able to do the things that she wanted to do because she knows how to do it now. Before she didn't know. I just feel that things have turned around. The hope that I was losing, I now have, because you sure have helped us. She feels everything is right now. It wasn't at the time before. Thanks again, Steve.
Talk to you later. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. And so go to clutterandanxiety.com and get your copy of these 7 proven strategies to cure chronic clutter. And it's really good. The program is called Clutter and Anxiety No More, because that's really where you want to live. So thank you very much for your time. We hope we served you at the highest level. That's our mission. Mm-hmm. And please contact us if you have any questions, concerns, or if you want to join one of our group coaching programs or one-on-one to really find a solution to this issue once and for all for your life. All right?
We can't wait to guide you on your clutter-free journey.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Until then, bye-bye.